Reena Ezra.
I'm Jordan Freed.
And I'm Brendan O'Brien. Sorry, I'm having a one-on-one conversation with Mary Jane right now. She's here too. And joining us also is our guest for this episode of Sessions with Mary Jane. Please, wherever you are listening to this, clap for comedian and comedic artist Julio Diaz. Thank you for being here today.
Hey.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Julio, where are you calling from remotely to us at this current time?
I am parked up right next to Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I have a spot at 950.
Very nice.
Okay,
very nice.
okay.
So we are catching Julio literally in the environment. Yes, he is getting ready to pounce. Yes. What's going on tonight? Is there a show? Is it up their mic tonight?
Yeah, it's their house show. They got at 9:30.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah, we are definitely going to explore into your comedy past and present. But first, I believe you have a challenge.
Yes. So Julio, so during this podcast, at any point you will be, not any point, at this current point, you'll be challenged to name as many items on a list that we will give you. The list is to name as many sketch comedy shows that you can think of. You said at any point during the podcast, whenever you think of one, shout it out. We'll put it on the list and tally it up at the end and see how many you got.
And literally, like at any given moment, just like say like Mad TV.
Yes,
there
you go.
That was a great example of doing it. It's your first one on the list.
Is there a sketch show that is like the top for you?
I like Mad TV a lot. Then you obviously you got SNL, and then that was such a good question. As the podcast go on, it'll come to me, but those are the first two that pop in my head.
Okay, well, those two are classics. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Good picks.
You know what else was good? The Amanda Show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You are preaching to the Nickelodeon choir.
I was waiting for that one to come out. Yeah, there we go. Solid sketch show right there. Good material right there.
What was the first source of comedy that you got into as a kid that made you consider doing comedy?
I used to watch TV with my dad a lot, and he was big on watching what's their names? I think it was, what is it, Penn and Teller, something like that.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about? One of them was silent, the other one was okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a magic show kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was like really big into that, or he would watch late night, anything late night he was watched. So like back then it was Leno. He was big on Leno a lot, and then just anything that he was watching I was always into. And then middle school I started watching stand up on my own on YouTube. This is like 05, 06, early YouTube days where somebody will upload a video that maybe shouldn't have been up there, but it was there.
What type of stuff were you getting into back then?
A lot of like old school stand up. So like who can I tell you? Rob Stapleton, a lot of Rob Stapleton back then. A lot of Godfrey, a little bit of everybody really. And then I think Carlos Mencia was really popular back then. This was before all the stuff that came out about him in the the scandals and stuff. But Find the Mencia, that was another sketch show I was watching. So really just a lot of those things. And my favorites were the Comedy Central. I think it was they were really popular for the 30 minutes back then. So they'll give somebody like 30 minutes, or they would have an episode where you would have like Kevin Hart, Gabriel Iglesias. This is when he was bubbling back then, and just all these people on this one 30-minute show. And that's really my whole first step into comedy.
Yeah. Would you say that when you were younger that you were the class clown?
For sure. Yeah, I honestly didn't think I would do stand-up. I thought it was more like class clown in the moment, really good at yes-anding. I love to yes-and. Even if I couldn't afford to get in trouble because I'll get suspended, I was with it. I was like, nah, I don't care. I'll yes-and you all the way. So it's definitely a class clown.
Yeah. So have you done improv?
I actually started with improv. This was like 2015, and Cypher Sounds was doing an improv class, and that's how I started because I didn't think I could do stand-up. But then I met some friends. After the class ended, I took that class for like a year. We just started going to the stand for open mics, and I stuck with it. The best thing I ever did.
That's awesome. So how was it your comfort level from improv compared to stand-up? Because obviously one is solo, one you do with at least one other person in a group, and obviously one is scripted and one is not scripted. So there's, yeah, like obviously similarities between the two, because shit always comes up in a stand-up comedy because you also interact with the crowd. So there is improvisation elements. But yeah, what was your comfort level for both at the start?
I was actually really super, super shy. I was still living in like this little shy bubble that I was in, and improv improv was nice for me because it got me out of that shell. I was very people observant, so I would watch some of the people that were comfortable in improv class and what they would do. And there was this one guy named Q. First thing he did every class was come in, not even every class, but the first class specifically, he came in and he shook everybody's hands and he said, "Hey, I'm Q." And right then I was like, look, he's already popping that bubble, introducing himself. Now he's incorporated in the whole environment. Now everybody knows him, first name basis. So little things like that I picked up. And improv was really good for me because it just got me out of that shell. But believe it or not, I felt more shy and nervous doing improv because you're sort of relying on the team and vice versa. They're relying on you to keep it going. Versus a stand-up, if you're bombing, you by yourself, you're not letting nobody down. Even if you're bombing, I never felt like I was letting myself down when I was bombing because I was like, yo, I'm representing myself. I was going to bomb regardless. I might as well go through it. So I felt more shy doing improv, to be honest with y'all.
Yeah.
Speaking of bombing, when you first bombed doing stand-up, what happened to you psychologically? Were you just like, okay, yes, I have to just keep doing this to get better, or that definitely deterred you for a bit?
Honestly, I think I had a benefit of doubt where the friends that I made, Trinidad and Julio, who we do a podcast together, they were always in the crowd in the beginning because we do stand up together. So, in the back of my mind when I was bombing, I never felt no type of ways because they would always be in the corner laughing.
Mm.
So
yeah, that's
I'm saying that they were laughing because not even laughing because they were supporting me, just laughing because you're watching your friend bomb, and that still felt.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
It still felt good, just to whatever, and but it never really deterred me. If you're just honestly okay with failing and have no expectations in life, you will forever be good.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Have you always been able to deal with failure like that, like in a very mature way, or did you kind of like grow and learn to get to that point?
You know what it was is my first dream in life was basketball, and I never ever fully committed to it. I never put myself out there, and I never allowed myself to fail. I was so nervous of failing that I never played to my potential. I was good at practice because nobody was there watching, but then once the lights were on and people were in the crowd, I was super nervous. I didn't want to miss a shot. So I told myself with comedy, I was like, no matter what, I will not let anything get in my way, especially myself. And that's really what it was, that I just was like, and then once I'm fully committed like that, and plus once you bomb so much and you go up, I've been doing this 7.5 years. That's a lot of bombing, a lot of wins too. But at the end of the day, I done invested so much time in this. There's no turning back or giving up on it. I'll do whatever it takes to make it work. Where in basketball, I didn't put in no time or effort in it. It was easier to quit. It's something I never really cared about because I never really worked for it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, especially when you're a kid. It's so easy just to, like, for that to like get in the way of like things that you want, and like I don't know if that's just like the way that we're raised or just like a natural thing, but it that's just like a part of growing up though, right? It's like you have to like learn how to like overcome doing those things in order to get what you actually want. Because like if you don't do that, then you'll never get what you actually want in life.
Facts. It's harder when you're a kid because you're thinking. You just add all this unnecessary pressure. It isn't until you become at a certain age where you're just okay with the flow and the natural pacing that your life is taking. You ease off the less pressures. Because life already alone is so much pressure. You got to work to live, blah, blah, blah. The last thing you need to do is put pressure on yourself to always do well. Like, nah, sometimes I win, sometimes I don't, but I try, and I can live with that.
Yeah. Julio, where'd you grow up?
In Brooklyn.
What neighborhood?
In Williamsburg.
Okay.
My whole life.
Cool. Oh, really? So are you in Williamsburg now?
Yeah.
Cool.
So wait, you must have seen Williamsburg undergo some kind of transformation in your lifetime, huh?
Funny enough, I would say I caught like all right, so like it started changing really like around 2000, but it started in like Greenpoint, and then it started really trickling down. And so it was like right around when I got to high school. This is like 2009, 10, where you would just see things you weren't used to. And I live in like a dominant, like a lot of Dominicans. It was really bad back then too. A lot of like, gangs and bad stuff. So to be honest, I kind of like the new changes, not all the way. I don't like the new bougie people, but it's so much safer than it used to be. Like, it is what it is. I'm all about adapting to the change. If this is the neighborhood now, it is what it is. I do feel bad for some not able to pay their rent and they're forced out. Those I will forever, understand. But it is what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
There is something to you staying and like contributing to the culture and staying in that neighborhood also, because like you did grow up there. Yeah.
I'm lucky enough that I live with my parents, if I'm honest with you. If I was by myself, who knows where I'd be at.
Yeah. What's your relationship with your parents like?
Really good, honestly, like really good. I'm very blessed to be, because honestly, like they're super supportive. My humor, everything that I am as a person came from them. And not every parent is supportive of your dreams. I'm not saying like my parents forced me to like really like, I work for sanitation because they pushed me to do all these things, but they could still not support me leaving the house to pursue all these things. So I'm actually very appreciative of to have them as parents, because I know some friends who didn't have the same parents. So
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Do you remember when they first, when you told them or they found out that you were interested in pursuing comedy professionally?
These are the same parents that I was telling them I'm gonna make it to the NBA, and they came to basketball games where I didn't get off the bench. They saw how I didn't put in that effort for basketball. So here I am now at 20. I think I started at 20, telling them I want to do stand up. I dropped out of college. It's a little bit different. So they were just okay with the fact that I was always working. It's not like I was never not working. Yeah. And I thought maybe I'm thinking that they were thinking at some point that this was gonna phase out and I was gonna just stay at like sanitation or a city job. Yeah. And we're at this like weird point now where things are happening in stand up, but I am also working for sanitation. So I'm sort of still going against the grain. They're still very supportive, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
What do you do for sanitation? What's that like? Is that a hardcore job?
It is, honestly, because it's like, everybody has a route. Everybody's picking up 12 tons of garbage every night. So that's split up between you and your partner, or we're like doing the corner baskets. That gets dirty. To be honest with y'all, it's a tough job to let go. I'm not even gonna lie. It's the best job I've ever had.
Wow.
I love it. Nobody bothers me. I am scared of rats though. That's the only problem. But it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like working at night specifically?
What's funny is so there's 3 schedules. 3 times. It's 6 a.m. to 2. Then you have a 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., which obviously I don't want that one that takes away from all the shows, or a 12 a.m. to 8. So until I have enough seniority to get in the mornings, 12 to 8 is perfect, because after COVID and after, the lockdown, there's not too many 12 o'clock shows unless you at the Comedy Cellar or something. So after 11:30, I'm not missing out on anything. I can still do what I got to do from 4 to like 10 to 11, and then go to work. And it makes me feel good because I'm like, I'm hustling. Yeah. I like it. I feel like it's Derry Gully. Like, there's not too many people that could be like, yo, I just had an amazing set, or I just bombed 4 times in a row, and I'm about to go pick up garbage.
I love your spirit. Yeah, I love your attitude towards things, for sure. That's also something I'm assuming when I'm gonna say when, not if, the shift comes where you do excel more in stand-up and you do have to do, like, you're already so committed to it, but it is like it is always interesting to me when people go higher up in the ladder, and that changes your surroundings, your environment, and the new people you're interacting with, because now it's becoming more like you have to do this for business. It's becoming like, okay, they need to like prop you up, you got to do this, you have to meet these people, blah blah blah, all this stuff. But I mean, what is your, like, even now with stand-up, finding that, I mean, if more and more people know you and they see you and they're aware of you, and they're like, there's no, people break the fourth wall with comedy all the time. Like, obviously it doesn't seem like there's a fourth wall. The point I'm getting at is that, like, what do you do to give yourself a distance so that you're not, because you said you're a shy person by nature, like at least in the beginning you were, but now having like, I mean, yeah, it's just like, how do you manage that? Because there's just, you know, more and more people who are going to address you and, you know, come to your shows.
I would say I have a tough time in ending convos. Like I'm there. Like if I'm on the run and somebody's talking to me, I don't know how to politely say, "Hey, excuse me, I'm sorry." Especially because most people always come to me to vent. I don't know what it is. They love venting to me. I do think I'm a good listener, and it's kind of hard because I don't know how to tell somebody that's like, "Bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't been able to pay my rent, this and that." And I don't know how to tell them like, "Yo, I'm really sorry. I you know, I feel rude when I tell them I have to go." But I think what I do, I keep a distance in a sense of like, okay, I don't share. I think that's the best way I could put it. So you could come to me and vent and share about everything you want. I'm not gonna go around talking about your business, this and that. What I'm not gonna do is talk about my stuff. So that way, not because I think my stuff is private or something, but just so that I can feel like I still have some type of distance from you. And that came from, I've always had a lot of friends in my life, and then after high school, I started just picking and choosing my circles, or just eliminating my circle too. Like right now, I can honestly tell you I have one best friend that I tell everything to. I tell stuff to my parents, and then everybody after that, I pick and choose what I tell them based on the relationship that we have. But that has helped me feel like I have some type of control and privacy over my world. You may know me from what I post or what you see, but you don't know everything. And I think that's the biggest advice I could give to people to feel like that. Like, you don't got to go around sharing all of your stuff. It helps you feel like you have some type of distance from people. There's still some type of wall. They may not feel it because you're very approachable, but you still have a wall put up to, you know, defend yourself.
Yes, even though, yeah, you're open and have that welcoming come in, which is now, like, I feel like we're in the era of oversharers. People on social media are putting everything out there, and it's like nobody asked. Like, no, it's like, you know, like, good, I'm very glad you're empowered to do all this, but I do feel like sometimes it does just project other pressures onto people to feel like, oh, I got to be that person now, or like I have to do this, blah 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 blah. And it's just, they do feel like they owe somebody something, which is not true. It's like, just because you shared 80% does not mean I have to also share my 80%. I'm gonna give you 10%. And that's totally fine. That's totally within your right. But yeah, that is a very healthy perspective that you have on it, that I'm glad you spoke upon.
Yeah. Especially with I tell me if you experience this, like with coming up through the stand-up world, like how do you feel about like the pressure that comes along with like having to have like an online presence? Like, do you enjoy that part of it? Do you like run up against it? How do you feel about it?
I still struggle with it. I want to find a perfect healthy balance, because I personally don't see myself becoming an online personality like some people are, where they're like, their whole thing is like they get up and they share their opinions, or they go live and they do that, or they have a team and they're consistently dropping videos. I personally like the flow that I'm going in. I know we're going to have to pick it up a little more, but I do very well with doing videos with Jared Harvin and Talon Harris. I drop my podcast with Julio and Trinidad on there. I use my Instagram for promotion only, like I promote stuff or whatever. But I know at some point I'm gonna pick it up. But to be honest with y'all, what I mainly want to do on Instagram is what catches my attention, and what catches my attention are the funny sketches. And I do want to find a way of how to do it individually too. That way I'm not always working on like the people that I work with time. You know, sometimes I just want to drop something, but I still haven't figured it out. But it's another job. To be honest with y'all, it makes me feel like it's a nonstop. Like you have to post or whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't stress that. I don't stress it yet. I just don't stress that yet. When I figure out what it is I want to do and that I can do at my own accord, I'll do that. But at the end of the day, you still got to be good at what you do in person. So as long as I'm always working on that aspect, and then I start stepping it up with the videos, I'll be good, you know?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Then that's like also your authentic you, because people can see a bunch of your videos, your social media, whatever. Then if they see you in person and you deliver, they're like, oh, okay, they're real. Like this is for real. They're not, because you sometimes don't know who's behind that person, who's actually writing their stuff, who's actually like putting up, who's actually like behind it. And you may think it's always just the person at the forefront. But you did mention your sketch videos. Can you tell us how that culminated, how they came about with you individually and then meeting, you know, just go into as much detail as you want.
So I don't think I've ever dropped any video by myself. I was just doing stand-up, and about, I think 3 years ago now, I met Talon Harris at an open mic, and we got along right off the bat. We found each other really funny, and then we just became really good friends where we just felt like it was more than comedy at that point. We felt like we were real life friends and stuff like that. And Talon was doing videos by himself. He was already a rapper, and so he's really good at like editing stuff that I have no clue what to do. I've never picked up a camera and then opened up movie Mac movie. I don't even know the name.
Yeah.
So we just started doing videos together, and it wasn't that many, but what we did come up with was really good and solid. But most importantly, we just had fun doing them. I think if you just have fun doing anything you do and it makes you laugh genuinely, like you're not just doing this because you need to drop something, like you enjoyed the process, you found the video funny yourself, you could always win with that. And every single video we made together, I just found them all hilarious and I enjoyed them. And then about like 2 years ago now, or maybe a year and a half, I would say 2, then Talon came up to me one day and he's like, yo, look at this guy, he's hilarious. And it was Jared Harvin. Jared Harvin is out of this world, if I'm honest with you guys, because he's funny, but most importantly, he was already doing videos by himself. You know, he found that little niche that I was trying to tell you guys about, and he knows how to edit. He's been editing for years. He's good with the camera. Like, he's like, in my opinion, he's a genius because he'll know the angles. He'll know exactly how it's gonna look in his mind when he's editing, and like, you know, when it comes out afterwards, I just can't believe that he pieced it together that well. And so then us three, we started doing videos together, and it's just honestly, it's been a good trip. You know, like I'm never in a rush. Most people want to get to when they're winning in life, you know, quote unquote, when they're up.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I've been enjoying this whole journey. I've been enjoying everything. I've been enjoying who I'm working with. So that's really how it started with Jared and Talon and me. And
it's
yeah,
funny.
man,
it's funny, and you can see like it does come through the screen where it's like, oh yeah, these guys are also it's not dragging your feet and like people are not enjoying the process or whatever. It is like, oh, this is genuine. Like this is like also a group that has chemistry, a group that comes up with really funny ideas and knows how to execute them. And also like you touched upon, it's the vision, how somebody is able to, we know it very well. You have it in, you know, the writing stage. You're just thinking of the ideas, whatever stuff like pops in in the moment. But having somebody who'd be like, oh yeah, I know, I have a vision for how to shoot it. oh yeah, I have you, and that technical person, you need that technical person, somebody who is piecing it together, because you are all the producers now. It's not just a person in front of the camera, right? It's not separate roles, it's all merged. And then that's how you get it accomplished. And it is, yeah, it is definitely, you guys, like in particular, already have, it's great because watching your material, you already get a sense of your comedy tone, you're like, oh, these are like their signature. You're just like, oh yeah, like this is so them, or like this is, and like for sure there's stuff where you're like surprised, but it's like, because because sometimes you're just like, what the fuck is gonna happen in this video? But that's like the delightful thing, because I don't want to expect it. I don't want to be like constantly, you know, you always want to be amused, but you're always just like, oh my God, yeah, that's like so their style. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah,
stylistically, yeah, it's very,
and it's so like not offensive too. And like a world where everything's so fucking offensive,
Yes,
like
yes,
it's just like something everybody can find funny,
Everyone
and
can
it's just
enjoy.
like amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of all your videos. They're really great.
Yeah.
I look forward to them. I look forward to
Yeah.
more videos in the future.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Oh yeah, no, of course, dude. How do you guys like generally come up with ideas? Like, do you like sit down and like start riffing together, or is it just whoever thinks of the next idea and they just kind of like, what's the process like for you guys?
So, all right, each of us on our own, we come up with ideas, but this is why I say like Talon and Jared. I'm big on bigging up my friends. You'll never really hear me bigging myself up, so never feel like I'm not including myself, but that's just how I am. But I think they're both geniuses, because Talon, the same thing with Jared, Talon has the vision too, and since he's been doing it for a long time too, he'll know how to record it too. Talon is just like me and Jared as well, where they're just so good. We're just all good at yes-anding each other.
yeah.
So it don't matter what they're bringing to the table or what I bring to the table. We're super with it because I trust them, they trust me, we trust each other. Wherever it is, we'll go that way. And it goes to what you were saying, how it's, I wouldn't say we're clean comics, but we're just not into offending anybody. And not saying that we do that particularly, like we go into it thinking that. It's just we're just not like that. Talent, I'm pretty sure, was the same when I was at school. Same thing with Jared, where I wanted to make everybody laugh. I wanted to yes and everybody. I didn't just want to be a cool kid or this and that. I was laughing with everybody. Everybody had a sense of humor, so I'm pretty sure they were like that. So basically, honestly, Jared is out of this world, because some of the things he comes up with, like, I don't know if you guys seen the sketch where it's like, I went to the store for him and I got him, he wanted chips and I got him a potato. Like, he'll come up with things where I'm like, how did you even think of that? Or the chair, we had a sketch about a chair that wanted to kill itself.
Yeah, oh my God, that was the best one. Everybody needs to go check that out if they've not watched it already.
When he said it, he was like, yo, I have an idea about a chair that wants to kill itself. I was just like, I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm super with it. Let's do it. I don't care.
Oh damn! Which of the videos, which one makes you laugh the most when you go back and watch it?
I'm biased. I like all of them. Like,
Yeah, I was
honestly,
gonna
like,
say about, yeah.
Yes.
It's hard when you were also saying about like laughing at, it does take me a while to edit our stuff, because I am just constantly laughing while I'm watching it, and you have to rewatch stuff a bunch of times when you edit, if you're syncing up the music, the trimming, the whatever. So it is like exactly like you were saying, like, yeah, if you're at the point where you don't enjoy it, then it is like, why are you doing it? You know, like you said, you've been doing stand-up comedy for 7 years. And it's just like, you know, don't make yourself go crazy. Like, who would want to keep doing something for 7 years? So you clearly, you know, are, and also that is not an easy passion to like fight for, or to chase, or to go after so consistently. That's hard. A lot of like the rooms you're around, I mean, which also, if you can speak upon for over the 7 years, like how the comedy culture has changed, obviously. The room, I mean, just within the past 2 to 3 years with the pandemic bubble, but the rooms that you've been in, like shit gets, you know, gritty, and then all of a sudden you're not allowed to say this, you can't do this, you can't do blah, blah, blah. But how, yeah, what would you say in regards to how comedy has evolved in the length of time that you've been doing it?
Well, I got in at 2015. Things were already becoming, they would call it sensitive. Things were already becoming sensitive. And then obviously they became more. But I'm all about adapting to it. And I came up, I was born in 94. When I was going to school, it was from like basically 2000 to 2012. I graduated high school 2012. And from 2009 to 2012, I think I already started adapting to what the world is. So like I feel like comedy, just like every other art form, is a reflection of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And remember in like 2011, I stopped wanting to be, I wouldn't say I was an offensive person, but if I was like I had no filter basically. And my filter is not even nothing crazy, but still, I still had no filter. And I just remember senior year, I just didn't want to like rub anybody the wrong way. It's the best way I could put it. Like, how can I make everybody laugh for real, not just my classmates, but how can I make the teacher laugh too, where he doesn't feel like I'm disrupting his class?
Mm-hmm.
How can I make the person that's like, yo, I'm trying to study to pass this final, and you're being a class clown, you're being an idiot. How can I make them chuckle too? Like, I don't know why, but this is just things that I wanted to do. And then so when I got into comedy, I was already I was aware of sensitivity. Is the best way I could put it. I was always aware of sensitivity. I'm a sensitive person. That's why I feel like my comedy came from, where I had to defend myself from like fat jokes or whatever it was, you know. And so I was very hyper aware of how people felt. So I'm all about adapting. If the world is sensitive and people don't want to be offended at comedy shows, I understand that some people are against that. Like, it's an art. We should do what I want. Then you go ahead and continue to do that. And I hope you remain successful in that. I'll adapt. Not even saying that I'm giving into it, but I already came up like that. I already came up. This is the generation. I have a younger sister who is even more sensitive, and even in a more sensitive community in a sense. And yeah, I would like her to watch my stand-up too, and not be like, oh, that was too dirty, or that was this. It just is what it is. That's what I'm about.
Which is
I think I'm
special,
perfect
yeah.
either.
I mean, that also will take you far, inclusivity. It's like not like people do, if people do make it seem like it is so hard to, I don't know, just expand your reach and to be like, oh,
Right.
let me, you know, do something so yeah, people don't feel left out. But that's wonderful that it comes easily and naturally to you, because like, yeah, that's what everybody's pushing for. Is just like, yeah, inclusivity, like the shows we're watching, the stuff we're doing, whatever. You're not displaying everyone's experience. You're not, I get it, you're not going to be able to display every single person's experience, but there's so many people like who can compare not compare, but who can't see some of their story or whatever reflected back on, you know, some streaming services where you're just like, where is this kind of content, or where is this kind of like, you know, like they had astronomy club.
Astronomy.
The
classic, the M and the N, man.
always makes
They're
it
hard.
for like Netflix for one season. Well, we talked about this before, but I'm still not over it. And then they just took it down so quickly, like, and that's just one example, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know. There's like a bunch of things which is very interesting, that like a lot of the sketch shows we all watch, because we were all born around the same time, watched growing up, a lot of it were white male writers for the majority of the sketch shows. So you're just like, oh, why do I like this content? Like, why do I find these, why am I gifted? And you're just like, oh, that's what I watched growing up. And you're like, oh, that's why this is, you know, where does this originate from? Where does this, like, yeah, this kind, what do I think of when I think back to blah, 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 blah. So I don't even know what my point was, but But
You're mad at Astronomy Club. That's what it's about.
yeah, well, I just like, yes, I like your inclusivity. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can picture you like having a show, like doing you whatever the heck your videos are, and your content could be literally anything. And I like already feel safe and can trust, because I mean, yes, we do know you guys, but like safe and like trust knowing that like I would be like, oh yeah, I could show this to my brother who's 10 years younger. I could show this to my parents and it would be fine. Like people would still like, I mean, he's a teenager, so he's not that young. So it would still be it would still be fine. Like I'm saying, it would still like satisfy many sectors, and you would be like, oh yeah, I feel good after watching this.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I'll wait till you get to that stage.
Who?
Let's hurry up. Let's get your show.
Not to change gears, but who's your basketball team? Were you always a Knicks fan?
I grew up a Steve Nash fan.
Whoa.
Oh, so all right. So are you just a Nets fan now? Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I hate coming off fake, but okay. So like, I grew up a Steve Nash fan. I'm very good at self-awareness, right? So I was always trying to find somebody that I felt like, okay, I can embody that. So when I was watching basketball, I never felt like I could be Michael Jordan, jump from the free throw line. I didn't think I would have crazy hops. I didn't think I could be like LeBron. So I'm like finding, and I find short white guy from Canada that can shoot the ball like crazy and set the guy up. And I was trying to embody that. And honestly, like I was doing pretty good. Like I was good at, because I knew what I had to do and I was good at it. And then what I noticed was I was only I don't want to say only, but I was 6 feet tall, which I'm blessed to even be 6 feet tall. But still in basketball, I was still on a regular team, I will still be the shortest guy. But that's why I say I'm blessed enough to at least be 6 feet tall, because where I grew up at in middle school, I was the tallest guy. So I couldn't play point guard. So then I started watching people like Akeem Olajuwon or Shaq, and how do they do it in the post. So that was my main thing. So because of that, because I had to just do what I had to do for my team, I just became a fan of the sport or a fan of the art that is basketball. So I like the Nets. I'm biased. I'm from Brooklyn, but I just enjoy basketball, if I'm honest with you guys.
Yeah, it's funny because that's like most people. That's not the case. Most people, it's like they feel like they have to have an allegiance to a certain team. Do you think it makes it easier to enjoy the games when you like, even though if you have like a preference, but like you just like enjoy the sport? Like, does it make it more enjoyable for you?
For sure, because I have nothing to lose. Whereas people have this sort of favoritism they want, and I get it. Like I honestly get it. Like when I was a Steve Nash fan and the Suns were winning, I was happy. When they lost, I was super unhappy. But then after a while, I gave up personally on just all of that, and I just became a fan of it. And it's for me speaking, it's just so much better. I'm not betting on anything either. It's just so much enjoyable. Like I could care less who wins, who loses. It was a great game type of thing. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Just going to check back in with your list of sketch shows before we close it out.
Mind the Mencia, that was another one that I was watching. Another one. Wow. Damn, you caught me because I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sessions with Mary Jane.
See what happens.
Has anybody said Amanda show when on your podcast?
Oh no, you're the first person to do sketch shows. Every episode's a different category. Yeah. So no matter
this
what,
is a first,
you're number one when it comes to doing sketch comedy shows on Sessions with Mary Jane.
It's true. Honestly, I
Hell
probably.
yeah.
Oh well, write it down. I just gave him one. I forgot.
Yeah. Right, that one.
Oh, you wrote astronomy. Yeah.
Yes.
Chappelle Show.
I always do that.
Right, Chappelle Show is one.
Yep.
Yes, that's a new one that you're getting. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we're just checking the list. I thought he said some other sketch show that sounded like Chappelle Show, but
Shishmel Show?
no.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what she's thinking of.
I know what I'm thinking of.
What else do you do in your free time? What are some of your hobbies when you're not doing stand up and you're not working?
I'm a real like the best way I can explain it is I'm a boring guy. That's the best way to put it. Where I'm very into the stand up. I'm very into my job. If I'm not doing those things, I'm probably spending time with my family. I'm spending time with friends. Uh, I stopped playing basketball and I just stopped playing it. I'll probably play. I enjoy playing it with friends. I'm very just like or I watch movies. Like when I went to DC 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I was there for a whole week doing shows. I did not leave my hotel room unless it was for shows. My first time in the city. I didn't go around. I'm like real like boring. That's the best way I could put it for y'all.
Well, I don't think that's boring.
Yeah. What
You're
movie?
just simple. It's meaningful. You know, you just do the
You know what you like.
you know what you like and you stick with it. Yeah, exactly.
What movies are you either like watching now that are coming out, or what are some of your faves of all time?
Some of my favorite movies of all time. I like The Fifth Element. I don't know why. I just really enjoy that movie. I enjoy documentaries a lot, particularly a lot of basketball documentaries like Hoop Dreams. I thought that was amazing. Hoop Dreams was amazing. Sebastian Telfair Through the Fire was a documentary about him being drafted from high school. I love that one. All of the ESPN 30 for 30s. I just finished, well, not just finished because I've seen it so many times, but Jerry Seinfeld, Comedian, is a documentary. I love it because it's about him going back into stand-up after Seinfeld, the show ended, so he has to reinvent himself. And there's some other guy coming up named Orny Adams. And that means a lot to me because when you watch it, you see how attitude is everything in life. Where Jerry's just always happy going, not necessarily happy going, you still go through the motions, but he enjoys what he does. And I think that's why he's so successful, where somebody like Orny was putting all this pressure on himself to make it, quote unquote, make it. And it just ruined everything for him. People don't want to be around people like that. You become unapproachable. You just have this nasty attitude. Even when you do well, you still find something to complain about. Like, and honestly, to be honest with y'all, in life is what you make of it. There's no such thing as I made it. You just make something of it, and you'll forever be good. And that's why that documentary is really good for anybody in comedy in general, because it just shows you, like, yo, just have a good time. This guy had the most successful show of all time. He's still chasing stand-up, but he's still trying to enjoy himself in life. I think that's why Jerry's a winner, because he's just forever just enjoying himself. And anybody like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Also, well, before we forget, where can people find you, your content, and anything you'd like to plug?
I'm on Instagram at Julio Diaz 321. That's where you can find all of my sketches. I also post where I'm gonna be at, like show-wise, every Saturday, 7 p.m. I'm at the Bowery Electric with Luis Galilei and Stella Harris for our show Give Me a Break Comedy. TJ Squared Podcast with Trinidad, Julio Rivera, and myself is on Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you can think of. That's bi-weekly. It comes out bi-weekly. I don't do the Twitter. I do have a Facebook, but I'm not on it like that. And plug. That was it. Other than that, yeah.
This has been a delight. You're the wonderful human being. Yeah. And this is
Thank y'all so much.
Fantastic wealth of information.
Yes.
This is so great.
And also have a great show. We're excited
Yes.
that literally minutes from now, you will be picking the stage to have a great set. And for those of you all listening to this podcast, thank you for listening to Sessions of Mary
What was his
Jane.
final number?
Oh, your final count was 6. You got 6. 6 is a very solid number. Congratulations, Julio.
6. solid.
Hell
Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So yes,
Thanks for listening.
so you can just find all the stuff that we make. You can find all of our podcasts, Sessions with Mary Jane, of course, and then also the Morning Shower, our morning joke news segment where we tell you about the headlines of the day and we give you something to laugh about them. Also go to latenighthump.com. Email us your funny or not funny thoughts at latenighthump@gmail.com, at Late Night Hump. If you type in Late Night Hump, and you're either gonna find two things. You're gonna find all of our stuff, all of our funny content, or you're going to see some sexual things. Either way, it's a win-win for you. So thank you for listening and have a great life.
Can I add one more?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, because my lucky number is 7. The Key and Peele Show.
Yeah.
Oh, Julio at the buzzer.
Well done. Well, yeah, we'll wish you the best of luck with everything, and we'll talk soon.
Likewise. Thank y'all for having me.